Welcome. I have something I want to share with you. We always say that history repeats itself. History does not repeat itself. The patterns of history repeat themselves. The patterns of the world repeat themselves. I was thinking about the situation of the world today and how it affects us as a society and so on. So, I want to talk to you about the Yom Kippur War, 1973. But before I'll take you to 1973, well, first I would like you to share, like, and subscribe. And check us on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. What else do we have there?
Facebook.
Facebook. Whatever is out there, we out there. Also to our website, Yeshiva.Etzion.com. And if you have questions, Rabbi, go on to gmail.com. And thanks to all our supporters and fans, whatever they are. 1967, it was a feeling in Israel of the end of the, what they call the third house, the destruction again of the state of Israel. There was a war looming in the area where the armies of not only Egypt, Jordan, and Syria, but also other nations like Iraq and some other nations, Libya, sent troops to fight the Jews. The idea was that we're going to take over the Jews, we're going to push them to the ocean, going to rape their women, goodbye and good luck. Well, it didn't happen like this. Israel took an initiative. They had planned already, I think, from 1962, 63, a plan of what to do and how to take over in a quick blitzkrieg kind of a war. And they took the initiative eventually and executed it, and they won. Without getting into the whole argument of the efficiency of the Israeli army, did they operate like a falanga or a army, coordinated army? That's not the argument right now. It's not the discussion right now. But that was the thing. Israel was feeling good. The United States realized that, oh my goodness, there is a little peon country over there that could cause stability to our interests in the area. Therefore, we're going to make the Israelis dependent on us. So slowly, we're going to give them from our giving bosoms, and we're going to give them weapons to the point they're going to be dependent on us until we're going to tell them what to do. That's exactly what is happening right now. The United States gave Israel the A4 Skyhawk and some other weapons. The Israeli army became strong with advanced weapons. The Americans had the best weapons of the time, better than the Russians, better than the French that refused to give weapons to Israel. They put an embargo on Israel. Israeli army was rocking. They were strong, man. There were tanks and airplanes, better than before. Then they gave them the Phantoms, right? The F4 Phantom. There was the A4 Skyhawk and the F4 Phantom. Tanks, missiles. And then came 1973. Regardless of intel that they had, which they chose to ignore, they didn't think that the Arabs will go on war with Israel because the Israeli army is so mighty. Some rumor has it that even Hussein came to visit Golda and tell her that, and she refused to believe that.
She was the prime minister at the time?
Yes. She was the prime minister, and Moshe Dayan and all these people and so on and so forth. The army generals wanted to go to strike, preemptive strike on the forces that both Egyptians and Syrians were gathering at the borders in an excuse to be a big army maneuver. Israel did not do anything. Came 1973, Shabbat, Yom Kippur, the 6th of October, and Israel was really, this time, at the brink of destruction. It was so bad that the Syrian army had advanced all the way up to Nafach in Ramat HaGolan, and from Nafach is only all the way down to Tiberias. Tiberias we're thinking to do a mass evacuation of Tiberias and hold the area, because once the Syrians go down with the tanks from Ramat HaGolan into the bridges of Ramat HaGolan, goodbye and good luck, Israel would be divided, and that will be the end of it. So how did it happen? What happened at the end? What happened at the end? Israel won the war. They able to push the Syrians out of the Ramat HaGolan and were able to break through an enclave into Syrian territory, 32 kilometers from Damascus. They crossed the Suez Canal, put a siege on the second army of the Egyptians, and advanced up to 101 kilometers from Cairo into Egyptian territory. Wow. How did that happen? And why did it happen to beforehand that they surprised them? So I'm going to tell you something. And that's something that you should learn. The Israeli army in 1973 was strong. But the Israeli army and the Israeli government had no leaders that were willing to take an initiative and act like leaders and to make crucial decisions in real time. So you ask me, well, how did it happen that they actually won? If you know anything about the war, you would see that the war in Ramat HaGolan, or the battle of Ramat HaGolan, was won by initiative of individuals, like, for example, Rafael Eitan, which is my hero, Raful, people like Uri Or, other like Avigdor Kahalani. These are individuals, small group leaders that took an initiative and basically with their body, this guy Tzvika Greenfield, took the initiative and with their body actually stopped the Syrians. The same thing in Suez Canal. If it wasn't the initiative of Arik Sharon, which at the time was okay, to break away and basically be insubordinate, should I say, to what the Central Command told them, what the leaders told them. He said, I don't really care, I'm breaking through Egypt, and that's what did it. And then everybody carried with him. We don't have leaders today also in Israel or in the West that are willing to take an initiative to make decisions that are brave decisions and needed decisions, and not to care about what the other people would say or what the world would say. And the problem is, what happened? What happened was very simple. We don't train our kids. We don't teach our kids to take an initiative. We teach our kids to be fearful, to concentrate on things that are not important, to busy themselves with things that are not important. We don't teach our kids to learn to prioritize, to take an initiative, to prioritize and to execute based on what needed to be done, not based on what people would say. The problem is that many of the leaders today, and the world is run like a comedy show, are no more than comedians. Most of the leaders in the world today are comedians. And to be a good comedian, you probably need to be a lousy human being. Because you make fun of all the weakness and all the bad things. Now even comedy is not what it used to be. At one point, comedians were smart, were wise. Today it's all dirt. So when we pick people to be so-called leaders, to be celebrity, based on the celebrity, agenda, like for example, who's going to, here, you signed it for him. Who's going to be, who's going to win this reality show and that reality show. For example, elections are like one big reality show. Elections are like a reality show. Who's going to win the debate? What are we, in high school, winning debate teams? That's what it is. And that's what we get. We get demagogues. Somebody told me Obama was a good leader. I said Obama was not a good leader. Obama was a demagogue. He could talk, cannot execute. When Obama was president, the first thing he did, he went to Egypt to kiss up to the Arabs. And they didn't like it. They didn't consider him to be anything. We don't have leaders anymore. We have celebrities. We have people who talk. We have figures, not substance. And don't think that it's any different in our Jewish world as well. Whether it's in let's say for example you want to open a yeshiva. You want to open a yeshiva that people would say, oh, that's a great yeshiva, or you want to open a yeshiva that you're actually going to help people to get on the right track, to be able to deal with life. When you are a big rebbe, you want to be the big rebbe because you want to be the big rebbe, or because you see it as a need to help the people, and therefore people gather to you because well, you're the only one who really cares. Why are you doing what you're doing? Are you willing to make a crucial decision? Why wouldn't there be like a Hasidic Rebbe says, listen, instead of like intermarrying each other all the time, or in the same pool, genetic pool, why won't you just break out? Everybody has to marry somebody else from a different branch of Judaism. Like, I don't know, Hasidic, okay, you gotta only marry Sfardim and other people that are not Hasidic. How about that? Because you're gonna lose power? So it's all about power? How about making decisions in real time, to make brave decisions? The problem is because people don't see beyond themselves. They're very self-centered. They don't see the big picture. They're not willing to act, to make brave decisions. Brave decisions. What needs to be done? So if nobody does it, it's about time you will. שנאמר במקום שאין איש תהיה איש. When there's no man, you'll be the man. And it's not about what the people would say, or what my neighbor would say, or what my aunt would say, or what my who would say. It's what I need to do, not what the people think of me. You're never going to break even. If you're going to have to compromise to everybody in the world, you're never going to break even. There's 7 billion people in the world with about 14 billion opinions at best, if not more. But you're going to live your life. And if you choose to live your life, you need to understand that you need to take control over your life. And you need to make decisions that are brave but not necessarily popular. You need to make decisions that will get you to the goal. However, if you don't have a goal, you're never going to get anywhere in life. That's a problem. In schools, we don't teach kids. We teach them how to pass tests. You have to pass your SATs, you have to pass this, you have to pass that. We're not going to teach you what to learn and how to learn. Because we don't want you to think. We're just passing tests. And then you go to college, it's all about passing a test. And getting license from the state. It's all about passing tests. So if you're a good person, if you're a person that takes tests well, you just need to practice for the test. You don't care about the rest of it. And that's what we get. But you have to start leading yourself. I'm not saying be self-centered. But you got to take an initiative and stand up. Because if not, life will run you over. Chew you up, spit you up, before you even realize anything that happened to you. Life is going to be over. It's up to you. Those individual people, the big Israeli army, 1973, the only reason why they won the war is because the initiative of commanders in the field, they make decisions in the field Not because of the political thing. Political Israeli politics in 1973 was in shambles, was immobilized. They couldn't move. They didn't know what to do. The only reason why they didn't listen is because they didn't want the world to think that we are the aggressors again. And look how much we pay for it. The situation in Israel as it is bad today is because of that. The same thing with the peace treaty with Egypt. Sadat took the initiative. Israel had to follow through it. And then we end up with God. If Sadat didn't want to give back to Israel, or leave to Israel 1 square kilometer of a place near Eilat called Taba, he insisted. They almost blew up the whole deal. But with Gaza was a part of Egypt. It wasn't Palestinian. Unlike common belief, most people are idiots. That was a part of Egypt that won in 1967. They didn't want it back. Sadat put conditions to Israel. If we're not going to give an autonomy, not a state, an autonomy to the Palestinians, to the Arabs in the West Bank. What do you have to do with the Arabs in the West Bank? You're Egypt. That used to be Jordan. What do you have to do with this? Israel said, okay, because they were more concerned with what it is. All those Israeli leaders, whether it's Menachem Begin, whether it's Yitzhak Rabin, whether it was Arik Sharon, Ehud Barak, Bibi, all those people cared about how they would be written in the books of history rather than to do the right thing for the people. I'm sorry to tell you, these are not leaders. Some of them were good soldiers. Some were not. But leaders, one thing for sure, they weren't. Take leadership over yourself. Make hard decisions. Make brave decisions. Or it's just a waste of time. Have a great day.